Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Yo!
Oh my God! Yo. It's YoMMA Rap with Louis J. Gomez and Dave Smith.
All right. What's up? It's your boy, Louis J. Gomez. Welcome to the YoMMA Rap. That's your other boy, Dave Smith.
What's up?
Yeah, boy.
It's good to be back.
Our team, Natalie's not here today. She's on vacation. Touring Iceland or some other lesbian country. That's what I imagine.
Is she touring Iceland? Oh, no, that was just an example of a lesbian trip. That's a really lesbian trip.
Yeah,
that was
we're going to go to Iceland in the winter. It's crazy. All right. No, but our team, we have Dylan and Coop, who are like the Tweedledee and Tweedledum, the fucking Bash Brothers. They didn't give us any notes for the show. Victor, are you here?
I am here, and I did send a rundown.
I have no notes. They just handed me a notepad with a bunch of scribble and scratch on it and a pen, and that's fine.
That's kind of weird.
So today we're going to talk about Derek Gaines.
Can you guys even hear me, by the way?
Who's doodling the name Derek Gaines? It better be Derek Gaines. If it's one of you, you're fired, and I mean this. It's the gayest shit I've ever seen in my entire life.
Lewis, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, just double checking because it's a little weird today, like we said.
I don't know what's going on with the team. I would love to take the moment and shout out Yo Kratom, but I feel like they don't want to be a part of an intro to a show like this.
We're bringing them down.
Yeah.
I will give
They've got
them $60 and a kilo.
Damn.
They have high grade Kratom, and we're giving them middle grade at best right now.
God, dude, this is an $80 kilo of Kratom type of show right now.
Yeah.
It's not a good deal. It's not a good deal for anyone. Thank you, Dylan. Finally, Dylan's
Kratom's probably not even lab tested.
printing everything out.
The Kratom at YoKratom.com is lab tested, by the way.
Shout out to YoKratom.com, home of the $60 kilo, maybe even a $50 kilo during the holiday season. Who knows where they're at right now? I see them posted different things. And also shout out to Yo Kratom for supporting Skank Fest, which we did announce today will be happening September 29th through October 1st at Notoriety in Las Vegas, Nevada. Yo Kratom, the marquee sponsors, once again, coming back for a third year in a row. Without them, Skank Fest would not be possible. So support.
If you weren't there this last year, we kind of had to go back. We just had to go back. It was such a great time. Such a perfect place for Skank Fest.
The city, the venue, the vibe, everything. And I think there's a lot of room to make it an even better experience. So yeah, you guys
We've never done
love it. Dylan, why do we not have notes yet? I am just vamping for these notes right now. I mean, I'm going into a whole speech right now.
This is our first time doing back-to-back Skank Fests in the same location since the original New York Skank Fest. Like Skank Fest, you know what I mean? And like this is like the first other location where we've gone back again, second year in a row.
That is
so
true.
That's pretty cool. And they deserved it. It really was. Everyone who came out there, it was like this weird feeling, like it was like, oh, Skank Fest always belonged here.
Yeah.
Like it was always supposed to be here.
I was rooting for Reno, but I'm happy you guys are happy.
Vic, are you going to come to Skank Fest this year instead of being a pussy?
Yeah, I'll come this year. I feel invited this time.
Yeah, well, you are. You've been invited.
Vic,
thank you, Coop.
Please come as my personal guest.
You know what? Thanks, Dave. For sure I'm coming now.
Incredible show planned today. We're talking UFC Orlando this past weekend.
Ooh. What a card.
Yeah, it was
what an event.
Incredible main event. Thompson versus Holland, fight of the year candidate. We'll talk about that. Lots of other stuff happening in the world of mixed martial arts, a little bit of scandalous stuff, some other stuff happening with Conor, some other stuff happening with Triangle of Truth. Lots of stuff happening today. But Dave, I bought you a housewarming gift for you and your wife.
Oh, did you? Well, the bottle of whiskey, I already finished it.
This was a different housewarming
Finished it by the next afternoon.
That wasn't a housewarming gift. That was a...
I want to drink good whiskey, and I'm coming over to Dave's. So you presented me with a bottle and then went, so we opening this thing or what?
Well, if you go to somebody's house, I think you should not show up empty-handed. Almost any time.
I agree.
Almost any time.
It's a good rule of thumb in general.
It's nothing crazy. You know, and look, I did buy you a $90 bottle of whiskey. You don't have to go that far. If I would have showed up with just a bottle of wine, that would have been fine, right?
Sure.
But I feel like
I wouldn't have been as happy.
When you go over somebody's house, you should show up with a little bit of a gift, just something, some cookies, some donuts, some bagels, a bottle of wine, whatever else it is. That wasn't your housewarming gift. That was me showing up, gifts in hand, showing you that I'm not just coming to take, I'm coming to also give.
Okay. You announced it as our housewarming gift. That's why I assumed it was.
No. I said I was just going housewarming, housewarming, and then I said, "Here's a gift." That's what I do when I come into somebody's home. Okay, so your housewarming gifts here, Dave, for your wife, for that bottle of wine that I got her, because I watched this poor woman. Dave likes it. Dave likes a woman who's got to fucking get her shoulder into opening some shit right in front of him. He's like, "That's my girl. That's my babe."
That's right.
I liked it, but I was like, "No, not my."
Got to keep her honest.
Not my good friend Lauren. I did not like watching her have to fucking really put all that shoulder work into opening that.
I don't like how
wine.
you're like trying to deball me now by doing this. He goes,
Tell Lauren this is
I think
Sunday.
it's about time she has a good life. That woman. Only I can provide it for her.
Right here, it is an electric
wow, she's gonna
wine
very much
set.
appreciate that.
Look at this; it's got it all. This,
And there's a one of the reasons I bought this house. I love it. There's a bar in the house, which I love.
Love it.
There's like a built-in fucking bar, which I've
Love it.
stocked up quite nicely, and that's a great little piece to be on the bar.
love it. There you go,
Thank
and it's
Lewis.
electric. It's fun. The way that it opens a bottle of the wine is a lot of fun.
That is very thoughtful. Thank you
Yeah.
very much. I
So that's-
genuinely mean that. That's
that's
a very,
for
very
Lauren.
nice present. This better not be a copy of Mein Kampf. What did you get me?
A copy of Mein Kampf.
Oh, no. What?
No, this is a great book.
Oh,
that
this is
I
the book
just
you were
read.
telling me about.
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Thank
Just,
you. Ooh. You just came so close to just spilling a beer into my
That's
lap
what a rich
with that.
dad would have done.
Oh, thank you very
But
much.
it's a great little book where this guy just talks about he had two dads
It's
in his
written
life.
by an Asian.
Yes, it is an Asian. They're very
Ah,
smart.
you never mentioned that.
But he just talks about essentially it's how he was taught about money from his friend's father who had money, and it's just I think a very interesting.
I had heard of the book, and you were telling me about it last week. Yeah, it
and
sounded
you're
very
in an interesting position in your life. You're starting to grow and fucking invest into your life, and you bought a house, and you have this amazing family. So I did get a lot out of that book. So I think you
Chapter
will as well.
1: Do not buy a house.
It literally is actually.
Because
There's a chapter in there which it specifically
if you
talks
bought
about-
a house, do
You're
not
fucked.
continue reading this book. We cannot help you.
Very
so, yeah.
adult way to open the show today. I feel like
This is very nice.
civilized and adult. Like,
Well, let me tell you something. If you would have seen me yesterday, if I would have tried to open the show yesterday, it would have been me just spraying diarrhea shit all over the walls.
there we go. Took it to
hope- are
the
you-
lowest ebb.
Are you contagious?
Really having
Excuse
some
me.
gas issues.
Hey guys, can we take a quick pause? I gotta go spray the walls.
No, dude, I had a stomach thing. I vomited on Friday night. Then I was good. Friday night happened. I was in McHenry, Illinois, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I was really fucked up. I slept all day on Sunday or on Saturday. Did my show on Saturday night. Felt a lot better. Had great energy. I was like, good, I'm back. Came home Sunday. I was like, you know what I need? I need a Shake Shack milkshake. That's what I need. And I got a Shake Shack burger. I got a Shake Shack milkshake.
Well, they won't deliver just the milkshake.
Doggy. Well, they will. I've never had diarrhea. I don't think. I mean, I think I've had diarrhea. Like I've had just like I sit down and I go, psst, you spray it out, like diarrhea done, peace. And it's never beyond that. You know, it's actually a little bit enjoyable. Diarrhea, when it's the way that I've had it in my life, has been a pleasure.
I almost welcome it.
It's easier. It just, you spray it out. It just, it's like, I imagine it's how a woman feels to pee. It's very satisfying, right?
No, I think all of that's wrong.
You dab your asshole. It's just a little bit of yellow liquid. Done. And then you're
Too
out.
much details.
Sorry,
Too much
Vic.
details.
But why do you have to take the toilet paper and then touch it to your lips? I didn't understand that.
No, that
part.
was my asshole.
Oh, you dab your asshole first and then you just do like
no,
your
no,
lipstick?
like it was, no. I'm saying that my asshole is.
I know, I got it.
Like,
I was
you know,
doing the thing. Okay. No, this was like you had a stomach thing. Like
This
you kept-
was, I did not sleep last night. I'm on zero sleep right now. And yet another night, in the past week, there's been 2 nights that I have not been sleeping because of stomach issues. Last night, every hour on the hour, I got up, I sprayed shit into the toilet bowl. It was, I mean, Dave, I couldn't fall asleep. I was just holding my stomach, rocking back and forth. I could smell the diarrhea. That was keeping me awake. It was a whole to-do.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had like a year and a half ago, I got my whole family, we got like a stomach bug. and it was my wife. This was before my son was born, but my wife and my daughter both got it, and I was just like, oh, I lucked out. Like I didn't fucking catch it. It was like 2 days after they had it, and they were all like getting better. And I was just playing with my daughter in the living room of my old place. And I just felt something in my stomach go like, and it was like, it didn't even feel that bad, but it was like something. That was weird. It's not like a normal feeling you have. And then like about 30
It's
seconds
almost
later,
enjoyable.
like 30 seconds.
That grumbling you're talking about, you're almost like, okay.
It was not that bad. And then like 30
Is there a
seconds
toy
later, I was
train
like,
going on in my tum-tum?
I was like, I think I have to go to the bathroom. And I went to the bathroom, and like I've never had anything like it in my life before. Like it wasn't like a water faucet. Like it was a fire hose. Like the blacks were protesting for their civil rights, and we had to take them out.
Yeah, of
and
course.
I couldn't believe this much came out of me. Like I couldn't. It felt like if my whole body was filled with liquid shit, more than that came out.
Yeah,
of
of course,
me.
of
It
course.
was just insane. And then it was like 5 rounds of that.
Terrible.
By the end, you
experienced
can't
that.
even believe it.
I've never experienced just nonstop throughout the
Until
night. Just
now.
keep on going over and over and over.
A lot of shows jump right into the MMA, but we give them a little something. We're sexy. We keep something you want to
this
talk
is
about.
the pre-show banter.
Yeah,
a lot of people like that.
10 minutes of diarrhea.
11
Nice.
minutes, Vic.
Yeah.
That's the name of this week's episode.
11 minutes of diarrhea. Will you survive?
Who will survive? What song is that?
Who will survive?
Who will survive?
Gloria Gaynor.
Nope. Vic does tickle me sometimes. Who will survive? Come on, guys.
Can you give me a little more?
Really? No one?
Give me a little more.
If I give you any more,
Mortal Kombat?
shut up. If I give you any more,
Thriller?
you're gonna. Who will survive? If I give you any more, you'll know the song. I mean, I could do the music. Who will survive?
No one knows the song you're talking about.
Let's see. Anyone in
think
the
you're doing it
racist
wrong.
live chat? Let's see. Anyone in the racist live chat? Who will
Bon
survive?
Jovi.
No, dude. I can't believe Dave. Can I say this? I know you know this song 100%.
Okay, well, you're doing a shit job explaining it.
I'm nailing that part. Who will survive?
All right, dude. We've done this long enough. Can we get back to diarrhea or MMA?
Whoa, WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
Time
Okay.
to
All right, dude, that's such a
survive.
rip.
Pump it up, pump it up.
Pump it up.
Yeah,
Yes,
whoa,
okay.
whoa.
It's M.O.
Turn it on right now. I'll take off the
What was their
monetization
names?
on this.
Men on a Mission.
Men on a Mission.
Men on a Mission.
Did they? That was their whole song? No.
Oh, no. They remember.
I think they all
used
had
to-
little
they're-
raps. They had little breakdowns where it's like, it'll be like, and the big boss man is here for justice and the truth. And it was like he was still in character. Like that was a thing where he pretended that he was a real cop. And then the Undertaker came. And it's like, I am the Undertaker. I'm from parts unknown, and I'm rapping like a.
I'm kind of a dead man, but at the same time, I can always cut a promo when need be.
Put the song on, the WrestleMania song. You guys know this song. Coop.
Whoa.
What is going on in the booth? How is our booth so slow to fucking move? What's going on? One of you guys are losing your jobs today.
Ooh, Russian roulette.
I
Who
like
gets
it.
fired?
One of these guys, Coop or Dylan.
All right, here's how it works. You're going to play Russian roulette. Whoever gets shot in the head is fired.
Who will survive? Are you playing Russian roulette? Here's the catch. There's 8 bullets in this gun. We have all live rounds.
Who wants to go first? It's not much different than going
I mean,
second.
in the Racist live chat, they're pulling it up. It's crazy. Just put, from now on, I don't even want the booth. I want the Racist live chat to be the fucking producers. And then when they pull stuff up and faster than you guys can, simply just click on it and we'll play that. Because why wouldn't we?
there we
it is.
go.
Right.
They just want to make sure the audible levels were perfect.
It's not a 3. It's time for WrestleMania Mania. Pump it up. Pump it up. It's not a 3. It's time for WrestleMania Mania. Who? Just like that. Just like that. Look at what you've got now. Chris Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I'm going to show you how to get beat up. Tatanka sees it. I love Tatanka.
You were a big Tatanka
I was.
guy until he turned.
and be a law enforcement officer. What? Kneel on black people's necks. Well, who will survive? Come on, guys. Who will survive?
Have you ever seen the Big Boss Man and Akeem along with Slick, the manager, on Arsenio?
No, I haven't.
No, I don't. By the way, can you let's
watching.
play that. Let's pull that up and play that. I would say, Lewis, you gave the most impossible to guess the song clue.
Just like that. Just like that.
If you just went, who will survive?
Who will survive?
Oh, wait, you're doing the WrestleMania theme song from 1993, obviously.
Who will
By the way,
survive?
I Googled "Who Will Survive" song.
Yeah.
Gloria Gaynor's "I Will Survive" popped up. That's the first thing.
It's a good song.
That's not what I was going for, Vic. That's a different song, obviously.
Lewis, first you were afraid, then you were petrified, and now you're thinking you could live without Dave by your side.
I spent so many nights thinking how he did me wrong, and then I grew strong. I learned how to get along.
Now you're back.
That's when I got Chris Tinkle on the Hammer Fisting podcast.
Yeah.
Remember?
Things took
That's what I sang to Dave as we kicked him off the Hammer Fisting podcast, Vic.
Yep. And then your life, both personally and professionally, took a real nosedive for a few years. But you're back. You're back, bro.
Okay, look.
You're unshadow banned on Twitter, I'm sure.
Dude, maybe. I don't even know anymore. My stomach keeps on going back and forth from being like, feeling like I'm feeling good to being like, why did I just eat that half a sandwich just now? I've been smoking.
I'm surprised you transitioned to your stomach and not MMA.
Yeah, we're going back to diarrhea talk.
No.
11 more minutes.
All right, we'll go to MMA. Fine. UFC Orlando. Ando.
Great event.
It was a great event. I mean, look, there was a huge card actually. A lot of fights on the card. A lot of big names on the undercard as well. Michael Johnson with a win. Clay Guida with a win. A lot of like journeymen with big wins over newer guys, right? Angela Hill got a win. Pretty action-packed undercard. I mean, honestly, what everyone's talking about, first thing we got to talk about is the Sergey Pavlovich Tai Tuivasa
Holy
knockout.
shit.
That was fucking a nasty, nasty knockout. And look, dude, Ty's a fucking beast, right? But I don't think anybody really saw Tai Tuivasa getting fucking put out in the first round by Sergey Pavlovich, right?
And it's the way he did it, that he just kind of like overpowered him. Like Tai Tuivasa, no one ever just fucking does this to him.
Yeah. But Ty just got knocked out, right? He got knocked out. Was it Derek Lewis or Gone? You're right. Yeah, he just got knocked out by Gone. How fast was that turnaround? That was kind of a fast turnaround, no?
I mean, not like insane, but it was only like, 3 months ago or something like that.
I mean, it's when you get knocked out as a heavyweight, you get your lights fucking put out, you know?
And he took a lot
July
of damage.
30th was that fight, by the way.
Okay, so that's
Derek Lewis.
So that's more. That's actually not that fast at all. It's July, August, September.
What are you going to do?
October,
You're fighting
November,
heavyweights in the
5
UFC.
months.
That's what they do. They knock you the fuck out, you know?
But he also took a lot of damage in that fight. But look, whatever. I don't know. This wasn't a fight where it was like, look, he just got caught by a fucking really heavy puncher, and that was that. But that's the new like really exciting knockout artist in the heavyweight division now.
Yeah. Good. I mean, good for Sergey. I mean, it's great for the UFC. They have a new contender that appears. You know, I definitely was rooting for Tai Tuivasa. He's just a fun fan favorite guy. You know, always like watching him win. Other big win: Rafael dos Anjos defeats Brian Barberena via second round rear naked choke. Dude, Rafael dos Anjos is a fucking monster still, dude. He's just, is he ever not good?
No, he's excellent, man.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he's got crazy striking, crazy submissions. Did he call out Conor after this?
Oh, I didn't see the interview.
He did, yeah. I mean, look, no offense to Rafael dos Anjos. I don't see Conor McGregor wanting to fight Rafael.
There's literally zero chance that Conor's taking that fight. If you remember, that fight was actually the fight that was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
For Conor Nate Diaz, the original Conor Nate Diaz was because Rafael dos Anjos got injured. The truth is that RDA is a really tough matchup for Conor McGregor. A very, very tough fight for not a big upside for Conor to take it. It's not like it's one of the smallest fights he could take. in terms of like how much money it's going to make, and one of the riskier fights. Look, Rafael dos Anjos has only ever lost to like the absolute top tier fighters. Like he lost to Leon Edwards. He lost to Tony Ferguson when Tony Ferguson was on top of his game. He lost to Colby. Like, that's the guys he loses to. Other guys, whenever he fights anyone else, he looks like he looked here. He looks incredible. And I don't know how old he is now, but he still looks like excellent.
He still looks great. I mean, look, Conor and him are both older. It's a fight, actually, that would make sense technically, but just Conor is such a massive, massive star. It doesn't seem like Conor's trying to fucking get up for anybody, but huge fights.
It's an interesting thing, though, thinking about that, that's how the Diaz fight happened. We were like, oh, if things just go a little different, what ends up happening? You know what I mean? Like, if those two just ended up fighting, it's quite possible that Dos Anjos just beat up Conor McGregor in that fight, and then fucking that changes kind of everything about where things go.
Very interesting,
and,
right?
It's like, who knows?
Coop.
Yeah, so I actually got RDA's age. He's 38 years old.
All right.
38, yeah. I mean, look, how old is Conor now at this point? 35?
I don't know. How old is
something like that? Yeah, they're both getting up there, but it's just not enough upside and too many ways for Rafael dos Anjos to win, to be honest with you. He's too good on the ground. He's a really good striker. Like, I mean, he's
got excellent cardio,
it's just going to be
really good kicks.
It's a fuck of a fight for Conor,
and he's got really good leg kicks and shit, too.
I probably would still pick Conor in the fight, weirdly. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because
He's 34, by the way.
I've seen Conor be the big, the fucking, just the big show for so long. Maybe it's kind of hard to pick against him when you get a guy that's not the big show, quote unquote.
Who do you have, Conor or the Big Show?
Ooh, Big Show,
all day, for sure,
all day, every day.
Conor, easily.
I mean, dude, it's the fucking Andre the Giant's lineage. Andre the Giant went 30 years without being defeated. Come on,
and even after that, there was controversy.
Stephen Wonderboy Thompson defeats Kevin Holland. Amazing fight, 4th round TKO, corner stoppage. Kevin Holland came out to fucking make a really fun, exciting fight. Stephen Thompson came out to fucking finish the fight, right? Which Stephen Thompson will coast sometimes, right? And especially when he's got, a striking advantage and it's a fight where there's a lot of striking. I think that you saw Stephen go in there and he really fucking was bringing the fight to him. It just seemed like, I don't know, whatever. It seemed like both of them came to bring a fun fight for the fans. My problem, though, is just that Kevin Holland, I mean, you got to fucking win. You got to come out and you got to win these big fights. Kevin Holland seems to enjoy fighting, right? And he wants to be in these fun fights and he wants to have these moments, right? But he hasn't been winning any of these big fights.
Well, it's kind of a tough thing. Like, he got his last fight, last minute notice, switches up, gets the toughest grappler in the fucking division, and just gets fucking ragdolled and choked out. Now this fight, then he's got to fight one of the, this crazy karate style fucking fighting, which is tough too. And he was fighting, look, Stephen Thompson just looked really good in the fucking fight. And Kevin Holland had a tough time dealing with that crazy style. And he was doing this thing early in the fight where he's kind of like wild. He was trying to walk him down. And so he's walking him down, but Wonderboy's very hard to cut off. And so he was doing the thing where he's like kind of leaping in, and Wonderboy just started timing it and fucking like picking him apart. He did land that one really good shot on Wonderboy. I think it was in the first round. You remember, Lewis? He kind of hit him like on the forehead area, the really good overhand right, and it seemed to have him hurt. But dude, toward the end, after he really got fucked up, I think it was in the 3rd round, and he was hurt and tired in the 4th round. And man, what an awful place. When they're like, they'll say, like, in boxing, like, don't stand on the end of his punches. Like, you don't want to be right in range where a guy's, like, can tee off on you with, like, maximum force. Yeah. And, dude, just standing on the edge of Stephen Thompson's punches and kicks. Yeah. Well, he's just, like, teeing off on you, and he's just throwing, like, you're just getting hit with, like, fucking spinning back kicks and fucking all time. He took a lot of fucking crazy shots in that fight.
And look, fight of the night, $50,000 bonus. It's all fine and dandy, Just you're talking about like longevity in your career. He just had that weird moment after. I mean, because he was thoroughly embarrassed by Hamza Chimaev, which everybody is, right? Everybody is.
Except Gilbert Burns.
He took the fight short notice, and Nate Diaz. He took the fight short notice.
Nate Diaz won dominantly.
So he took the fight short notice, and he that could almost be looked at as like whatever. We won't really count it in a weird way, but it does. Like, you got a guy who you didn't land a single strike on, who came out and just fucking absolutely embarrassed you.
It's like the thing. It's
retire-
like in a courtroom drama. You know, when like the lawyer will say something he's not supposed to say to the jury, and then the judge is like, "Strike that from the record, jury." You know, like, but we all just heard him say that. You know, it's like one of those things where you're like, "Okay, this is supposed to not count because you took such a tough fight on less than 24-hour notice." But it's kind of just hard to be like. I mean, we all saw that happen to you. Like,
it's like your ex-husband played the audio of his wife getting fucked by her by the other guy in court. It's like, it's not admissible, but we all just heard her.
Yeah, right. Like it's going to be really tough to pretend we didn't see that. Like, if he had come out, by the way, and just given him a good fight, he's the winner in everybody's minds.
Yeah.
But you can't not land a single punch and just get ragdolled without it kind of being like, that's not great. Then he retired on social media.
And he said, by the way, that it was a real retirement. He said that he was like, I guess he was sick of the UFC giving certain guys favorable matchups, and he was like, I was actually serious in the moment. Might have been dramatic, I guess. But, that little short retirement, he said he wasn't like trolling. He actually was pissed off and wanted to leave the UFC.
Well, he came back. He got a big fight. He got, his next fight they gave him
a
fucking main event against a big name, and Wonderboy Thompson has fought for a title multiple times and shit. It's just... Stephen Thompson, even at this point in his career,
was this fight at 185 or 170?
This, I believe, is a 170.
Yeah, it was 170.
170, okay.
Yeah. Stephen Thompson's always 170.
No, I know he is. I just was wondering if maybe Stephen moved up to 185 for this fight.
Right, yeah. No, Kevin Holland also didn't fight at 185 in his last fight. He was fighting a catchweight fight,
But I think he
has fought at 185 several times, yeah.
So, I mean, look, that was a card. Card was great. It was exciting. Anything else stand out to you?
Roman Diaz, how do you say his last name? Dalids beat Jack Hermanson.
Oh yeah, that was a huge win for him. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, other than that, Eric Anders, Phil Rowe, all had great performances.
Eric Andre was on that show.
Yeah, Eric Andre was hilarious. Came out there, shot the other fighter.
All right, real quick, Dave, we must thank one of our incredible sponsors, which is Chalk. That's CHOQ. Let me tell you something, guys. If you guys are working out, you should be taking some supplements, and it'll make you feel so much better if you are. If you might be eating well, you might be training hard, you might be in the best shape, and you don't see the need for supplements. Unfortunately, these winter months tend to be more taxing, and you need to take every edge that you can get, and you got to try Chalk's testosterone. Their fucking testosterone is absolutely incredible. They're the cleanest research-based testosterone booster available in the world. You really got to check it out.
Yeah, if you want one supplement that will make you immediately tougher than Luis J. Gomez,
come on,
it's Chalk.
No way.
CHOQ. Chalk. Tougher than Luis, day one.
Look, they use full disclosure labeling. They tell you the exact amount of each ingredient, and they never use proprietary blends, quote unquote, which is all fucking shady talk, in my opinion. Just go right now to chalk.com, CHOQ.com, and while you're at it, use the promo code YoMMA when you check out for 35% off your entire order. This is a great deal for the new year. Start your new year off right. Go to chalk.com, use that promo code YoMMA for 35% off your entire order. All right, where were we? Let's see. Let's talk about what's some big news, Vic. I think this betting scandal is kind of interesting.
It's really interesting because it's apparently turned into something. And James Krause now, who I believe he coaches Moraes, right? No, not Moraes. What's the guy that's gonna? They're gonna have their quadrilogy or whatever. What's what's that weight class?
Brandon Moreno.
Moreno. I got it mixed up with somebody else, but anyway, he's suspended basically. That anybody that's involved with him can't fight right now if you're in the UFC. Because they're investigating this shady thing. They think that obviously they think he's the guy that is behind this manipulation. And they're currently vetting it right now. They let go of Minner, his fighter, who was the one that went down in the first round at that fight card.
Right, and we were talking about that, right? There was we talked about this a couple weeks ago where there was it was like questionable.
So what was there? A bunch of money like flowed in one direction?
Yeah, a bunch of money changed, right? Or I guess the line changed very dramatically, very quickly.
It went from minus 220 to minus 420 within an hour with a number of bets.
And so apparently what I read was that the rumor is that James Krause was in like either like a subreddit or what do they call it? A Discord. And was like, yeah, my fighter's injured. Don't bet on him, or something like that, right? Which is essentially saying bet on the other fighter, right? I don't know. This is all hearsay. I literally have no idea how much of this is true. Could be somebody saying that it is him, right? Because Discord, I went to my own Discord. There's just a dude who's pretending to be me. It's just people interact with him daily and they have conversations, and it's just some dude.
Really?
Yeah,
That's pretty funny.
Well, it's not like he doesn't talk about betting. He's been on ESPN talking about betting.
He talks about he bets on his own fighters, right?
Well, this is a thing in MMA that is pretty normal. People bet, and they bet on themselves. And a lot of people talk about that. Fighters for years have been talking about it. It's like, oh, I've made, a couple $100,000, and then I put another couple $100,000 on myself because I knew I was going to win. There are other sports like baseball, for example, where it's illegal or not illegal, it's their rules. You cannot bet. You'll get kicked out of the major leagues if you bet.
Well, I think I think right now the UFC they're implementing something like that. They're saying you can't bet on yourselves, right?
So the logic.
Do you have an answer for that?
Yeah, so it's the result is pending, but what they're saying is that he might get the ban hammer. And again, like him.
Well, no, but this is this is a whole different question. See, so the theory in baseball that they've had for a long time is that you can't even bet on yourself to win, because the concern is that if you get into gambling, you could lose a lot of money, and then there's always a really easy way to win all your money back, which is to fucking take a dive and bet against yourself. And so this is the concern, right? So Pete Rose, for the longest time, he got kicked out. He's the all-time leader in hits and wasn't in the Hall of Fame and got completely kicked out of baseball. And he always maintained for a while that he didn't do it. He finally admitted he did it, but still maintained he only bet on himself to win. Yeah. Like he's like, I wasn't throwing games. And he was really good. So he's probably telling the truth on that. But even that's not allowed. It's a weird thing in MMA when you're like, if you're getting guys into betting, and then obviously the implication here is, or at least the concern for the investigation, it's not just that you had inside information and were telling people to bet. It's that, look, if everyone you know is getting rich off you losing a fight, it's only one step away from going, maybe you just fucking fall down when he hits you. Yeah. And we all fucking get rich off this. You know what I mean? And if that's happening, that's a really big problem for the sport.
It probably happens a decent amount. Not a wild amount, right? But if you're some fucking journeyman, right? And you're like, dude, I'm never going to be champion. Another loss means nothing. And now
I'm probably going to lose this fight anyway. Like, I might as well just ensure it.
No, let's see, you're going up against a guy who's like a massive underdog. There's a massive payday available for you. Whatever it is, whatever the parameters are. Why not, dude? Just like literally all you got to do is drop your hand a little bit and take the shot. There's nothing to even fake
shots
it.
All day.
Take shots all fucking day, dude. Getting knocked out is really not a big deal to a fighter. Just not a big deal. So I believe it probably happens. I don't know what's going on here, but the UFC, I've never seen the UFC come down on a gym like this. They're banning all of his fighters.
That seems harsh.
That's crazy. Well, I think they're trying to fucking smoke out the rat right now. They're trying to smoke out the mole, right? And
integrity, you got to protect it.
And they also have to have an extreme reaction to show like, hey, this isn't happening in our fucking
for the
sport.
Betting lines to change that drastically, it's also not just like some people bet this way. It's like, I'd imagine it would have had to be like big money to change the betting lines that drastically. Yeah. So this isn't just someone did it. It might be like, oh, a lot of people fucking.
Well, if he's in the Discord, and saying, oh, yeah, my fighter's injured, right? Like, in that moment, I mean, it's like inside information. Like, I don't know. Like, in my mind, I'm going like, I know fighters. I can find out if somebody's injured. Is that like insider trading or, like, the betting version of insider trading? Should I not be able to know that? If I, there's that scene in the movie Casino, right, where the main character, what's his name?
De Niro?
Yeah, De Niro's character, Rosenberg or whatever, he's Jewish. Mm-hmm. The whole thing.
Coolest Jew in the history
of cinema. The whole thing is that he studies the players. He knows who's injured. He knows, like, this is how he made like his first fortune and became known as like a gambling guy, is because he would study the players. He would find out who's cheating on their wife, who's having marital issues, and then he would use that to gamble later on. I almost feel like that's just all fair game. If you could find out somebody's injured.
Yeah. Someone disrespects you, then my short friend stabs him to death with a pen at the bar. It's like, that's life. Don't talk shit to me.
By the way, his name was Sam Ace Rothstein.
Sam
Man,
Ace
you really
Rothstein.
are my Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
Lewis just, I don't know. Lewis would just go fucking nuts. Here, I'd be trying to talk to the guy, and Lewis would just flip out.
And I just want to explain that Pete Rose is basically the Lewis of baseball in the 70s and 80s. He had a bad fashion sense. He was getting those hits, but he was always making questionable decisions and fighting with umpires.
My fashion sense is fucking unmatched.
Hey, you should be in the Hall of Fame, bro. It's wrong what they did to
I'm
you.
a future New York Comedy Hall of Famer.
Hell yeah, you are.
Don't you worry about that, baby boy. Should fighters be able to bet on themselves? Obviously not against themselves. Massive conflict of interest. Should they be able to bet on themselves? I have no problem with it.
Yeah.
No problem with it.
I tell you, I don't want to ban it because I like the idea of fighters betting on themselves. I think there's something cool to the idea that, like, if you really believe in yourself, you can double up your salary or double up whatever, make, like, there's a much higher ceiling on how much money you can make on yourself. I do think there is some point to the baseball position, which is like, you let people gamble on the sport, it's a slippery slope, but I wouldn't want to see that banned. I like the idea that fighters can bet on themselves.
It was okay in dodgeball. Remember that?
The movie Dodgeball or the game?
I just remember if you could
the movie dodgeball and the game.
If you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge a ball. That's all I remember.
Yeah, and he didn't dodge the wrench.
No.
He got hit by the wrench.
All right.
I'm not going to explain the plot to dodgeball.
Vic, if you could just Cliff Notes Dodgeball for us real quick.
Let's see. Yeah, Minner was released. There's really not much else to the story. I guess we're, jury's still out on what's going to happen, but that is fucking wild, dude. I mean, if your entire life, James Krause, he is a longtime UFC vet. He doesn't fight anymore, I'm assuming.
Yeah, he does like a podcast, and he's pretty active within the.
Was he on our show before?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
This show?
Maybe. Regardless, but was he no longer fighting? Is what I'm asking. Please answer the question.
He's retired. He's
Got
retired.
it. Thank you. But your entire thing is you're coaching fighters. You are an authority on fighting. Your whole world, however, I don't know how old he is, but my assumption is 30 some odd years of his life has been fighting. You get to the point where you are cornering guys, coaching guys in the UFC. You have a popular gym. We have popular fighters, UFC title holders, UFC title contenders. Your entire world, everything is right here. And now you go and fucking throw it all away. I would love to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I will say,
hopefully this
yes.
was a dumb mistake and it can be explained and he can go, hey dude, I just fucked up. I'm an idiot. But if it was, if it was for the sake of cheating and if it was for the sake of fucking trying to get his friends paid, I mean, there's nothing else you could do.
Well, look, there's like levels here of like how bad was this really? It seems like, assuming that it was actually him who said this on a Discord or whatever, then there's one level where it was like, okay, the best interpretation of that is he was just trying to help his friends from betting, thinking this guy was 100% when he's not. You know what I mean? Trying to save them money. The worst, then after that, it would be like, oh, he was trying to encourage people to bet against his guy to make money. And then the worst of all of it is like that the guy actually like fucking threw the fight because so it's hard to say which one of those it is. Hopefully they figure that out. I do think, while I agree with you, I hope the UFC doesn't make a rule. I hope fighters are allowed to bet on themselves. I like gyms being allowed to bet on their fighters. I think it's almost like an honor code thing. We're all assuming you're betting on your fighters and not against your own fighters, right? But you kind of probably shouldn't make announcements about injuries.
I think it should be it's extremely unethical, and I think it should be illegal to bet against your own fighter.
Yes, yeah.
Because
it's a conflict of interest.
Just look.
It's like a doctor working for a virus.
Yeah, I could just corner him wrong. it's just completely you can't do it. But betting 4, there's not. What are you going to trade him harder? I mean, there's no downside.
Well, that's kind of it. That's the best part about it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, you believe that much in what you're doing. That's awesome.
What's it called? Also, Nate Diaz, I guess, officially free agent right now.
Oh man, he's just going to start randomly slapping people.
Jake Paul
doesn't have to worry about a job.
Jake Paul fucking was like straight up the deal's on the table. Come take it, Nate. And I mean, we'll see what happens there. And I guess Jake Paul's also he's not beefing with Paddy Pimblett, but he told Paddy Pimblett he'd pay him $1 million if he beats him in sparring. Just come spar.
Yeah, that one doesn't make as much sense. The thing about Jake Paul and Nate Diaz is that, as we've all said before, when there's just a huge amount of money to be made, there's always a pretty good chance that ends up happening. And that's a big money fight, man. That's, I think, for both, short of Conor, for Nate Diaz, that's the biggest money fight right now. And for Jake Paul, short of Conor, or some huge boxer, which I don't think he would want to do right now. I don't think he's ready for that. This would probably be the fight. And even though Anderson Silva, in many ways, Anderson Silva obviously had a more like storied UFC career, but he's older and he's not as famous as Nate Diaz. Oh, yeah. So there's at least a question mark there over whether it's, you know what I mean, like a step up or a step down.
After watching what happened with Anderson and Jake, I would have a hard time betting on Nate Diaz.
I'll have an easy time betting on Nate Diaz.
Okay, good.
It's Nate Diaz.
I'll give you whatever odds you want.
Okay, 1,000 to 1.
Fine.
All right. I bet you $10,000.
I mean, look, dude, we'll see what happens. I'm excited. I'm is my guilty pleasure following the Jake Paul drama as it unfolds every single week on the internet. Conor McGregor settles a lawsuit with Michael Chiesa. This is when Conor threw the dolly through the window and the glass shards like got in Chiesa's face and eyes and I don't
know did it get in his eyes?
Multiple lacerations on his face and forced Maverick to withdraw from his schedule.
Well, he had to pull out of a fight, which I think they later rescheduled the fight. But still.
On Friday, attorneys for McGregor and Chiesa filed a stipulation of discontinuance with prejudice, meaning that the lawsuit will be thrown out and cannot be refiled at a later date. One person close to the lawsuit confirmed that a settlement was, in fact, of course. It's unknown how much McGregor had to cough up, but it's likely substantial given Chiesa's injuries and subsequent removal from UFC 223's card. Look, Conor has so much fucking money. It's almost like when Jake Paul says, I'll give Paddy Pimblett $1 million to come in and spar. He will make more money on the YouTube video that he puts out, right? From fucking...
Or at least close. It's not that big
He
of
probably
a
won't
loss.
make $1 million, but he'll throw us a couple sponsors on the fucking video. People won't want... I mean, that'll be millions and millions and millions and millions of people will view that. So, I mean, no, probably he won't make $1 million, but it is not $1 million net loss, right? It is like... there's value in having... sparring footage of you beating Paddy Pimblett. That's extremely worth more than $1 million to the career and the overall, aura and the thing that is Jake Paul. So it's not, and to be honest with you, I think Paddy would lose that sparring match pretty badly. Paddy's a really good, fun striker, unique, creative striker, but he's a grappler, right? He's a grappler.
None of that shit really works in boxing.
It's not going to work.
Which is like, it's just the truth is in boxing, it's like in MMA, things are just different. And you're like, oh, you see all of these different styles of striking in MMA. You see like these like Muay Thai, kickboxers. You see someone like Wonderboy Thompson. You see all this. You see people even doing like crazy shit, capoeira shit sometimes in MMA. There's a reason why in boxing, all you see is people boxing. Mm-hmm. Because like when you put on big gloves and you're only allowed to punch, that's what works.
Yeah.
None of this other shit fucking works. And so a guy like Paddy Pimblett, who's got kind of this crazy unorthodox striking style, he's not going to do well sparring a guy who just boxes.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of I'm 99% positive you can't throw a spinning back fist in boxing, right? I'm 99% positive that you can't throw a hammer fist. Like if you're fighting, you can't do this and strike somebody on the face. I think you'll actually get a point deducted.
Definitely not a back fist. You can't back fist.
Yeah.
I don't know about the side fist. I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think there's like very specific rules. I'm actually just taking this because I watched a bare knuckle boxing match the other day, just like an old one, like and they were just like the ref kept on stopping it. It was Joe Diesel Riggs's bare knuckle debut. against this other English dude. It was actually a really entertaining fight. And the ref kept on stopping it because Joe Diesel also like shot in for a double leg. Like he was,
Really?
dude, he went straight into like MMA, like, muscle memory. Like, but then he was like doing like shit like he was throwing like back fists and the ref's like, no, you can't fucking throw a back fist. It was shit like that. So, I think Jake Paul would actually slaughter Paddy Pimblett and, but
No,
look,
Nate Diaz and Anderson Silva have more compelling matchups because those guys actually like box a little bit. You know what I mean? So like that's, but I haven't really ever seen Paddy Pimblett like really boxing in MMA. I mean, who knows? But yeah, probably it wouldn't go good for him.
No, not good at all.
A lot of people don't know this, but you can go for a single leg in boxing.
You can't do
It's not a
single
fact,
leg.
but I just wanted to say that out loud.
Yeah, there's a lot of body locks, a lot of throws.
Belly to belly.
All right, let's see. This last story, before we do Vic's Triangle of Truth, what is this Mighty Mouse story? Mighty Mouse, the headline, ONE's U.S. debut. Demetrius Johnson and Adriano Moraes are getting another chance to settle the score.
This is the rubber match for those guys.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry.
Demetrius Johnson just knocked him out. The beautiful knockout. Was it a couple months ago?
In August.
In August.
All right, good for them. Good for ONE FC.
It's
Now
the
they're gonna
most.
be in
It's
the-
the most compelling fight to me in ONE FC. This is the guy who beat Demetrius Johnson, and then Demetrius avenged the loss. I'm actually interested to see this fight.
Yeah, how interested, Dave?
I'll watch it online.
After it happens, if you find out it's good.
Yeah, pretty much. No, but I am a Mighty Mouse fan and always have been.
Before we do our Triangle of Truth, let's do plugs real quick. Dave, what you plugging?
Well, me and you will be celebrating New Year's Eve in Los Angeles, California. Me and Luis J. Gomez make our return to the New Year's Eve show at the Comedy Store. Come on out for that. We got a great show. A bunch of hilarious comedians are going to be there. Who's on the show, Luis? We got Zach Amico, Colin Terrell,
Karen Feehan, and Crackamico, special musical guest Crackamico.
That's going to be fucking awesome. It's going to be a lot of fun, so come celebrate New Year's with us. The show is almost sold out, so go grab tickets immediately if you want to come out for that one. And yeah, I got a full calendar coming up in 2023, so I'm going to be coming to a city near you, comicdavesmith.com. Part of the Problem, of course, right here. Big announcement for the future of Part of the Problem coming up very soon. Stay tuned for that.
December 16th, 17th, I'll be in Toronto with Aaron Berg, the Offend Everyone tour, then New Year's Eve with Dave Smith in Los Angeles at the Comedy Store. January 5th through 7th, I'll be at the DC Comedy Loft, Washington, D.C. I'll be at the House of Comedy in Phoenix, Arizona on the January 12th through 15th. The next weekend, Bloomington, Minnesota. Then Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. And then after that, I know I just updated the website. The St. Louis Funny Bone, February 2nd through 4th. Lots of other dates coming up, including San Diego, Houston, and a bunch of other cities. So go to lewisofskanks.com. Make sure you subscribe to GasDigitalNetwork.com. If you love this show, you can get the entire on-demand library, all ad-free, uncensored, and in one place. Use the promo code YoMMA. Get a 7-day free trial. Get instant access to the on-demand library. Brand new website launching. Brand new app launching in the first few months of the new year. So you guys are going to have a lot of fun ways to consume Gas Digital content the way... and all the ways that you're used to doing it with all the other real companies, not just a website. But yeah, once again, December 12th, Skank Fest tickets. If you guys want to be a part of Skank Fest, the return to Las Vegas, Skank Fest, December 12th, we will be selling tickets at 1 p.m. Eastern, pre-sale for a discount that gets you access to the Thursday night kickoff party as well. So make sure you grab those tickets. They sold out in 2 minutes last year. I think we're going to probably break that record this year. The amount of buzz is deafening. Victor, are we going to the Triangle? We're in the Triangle. Vic?
Victor, we're going to need you for this part.
Wow.
I'm here. That was my fault. I was giving a big rant and I had myself on mute.
It's okay.
I couldn't see it. I messed it up myself. I want you guys to know that a triangle changes a man. And that's what happens when you can't see the triangle. People can dance in a square and they could be in an oval and call it a ballroom. But you cannot dance in a triangle, my friends. It is the most unforgiving shape out there.
Okay.
So
what do you got,
first,
Vic?
first thing here, I botched it all up. Coop, this is on me. Don't yell at Coop, okay? Nate Diaz was given the key to the city of Stockton, California. Roll the tape.
Whoa.
It's a big deal.
That's the tape.
There's the picture.
And we're rolling it. But anyway, would you guys give the key to the city? Would you to a UFC fighter like Nate?
I'm not giving the Diaz brothers the key to anything. They're gonna sell it to their hoodlum friends.
Well, I mean, who has put Stockton on the map more than the Diaz brothers? It's literally them.
Who are other famous people from Stockton? Please tell me. I don't even know.
I don't know.
John
There's
Stockton?
Nobody else famous. John Stockton.
I'm surprised you know who
That's
that
right.
is.
Yeah, dude. John Stockton from the Chicago Bulls.
He really should have just.
The Knicks.
You said it with confidence.
The Knicks.
No.
The Lakers.
No.
The Clippers.
Still no.
He's not going to get it.
I don't know
Dave.
that I
Just tell
can
him.
name another team.
The Utah
The
Jazz.
Wolverines.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you the answer, and you're still saying wrong answers.
The Cyclopses.
Not a team.
The Storms. These are X-Men.
being cool there.
I think the Storms might be a WNBA.
These are all X-Men. Sorry, guys. I get confused. The Magnetos.
They gave him the key to the city. He didn't drop any F-bombs, though.
Okay.
All right, good for him.
All right, guys, if you can get this video ready, by the way, this is a guy that we've been rooting for because, of course, he's been through a lot. Kane Velasquez made his wrestling return. Go ahead.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh my God! It's the guy who raped Kane's niece. Holy shit!
Oh, he's got the kid. He's got the kid.
Oh, no.
Stone Cold.
Why didn't they work that into the angle?
That would have been a great angle.
Anyway, it was for Lucha Libre AAA out of Mexico. They had an event in Phoenix, Tempe, actually. And so Kane's out there making some money because, of course, we know he hasn't made money all year because he's been locked up.
He's probably been spending quite a bit of it.
Yeah.
It's really sad,
So this
man.
this is a good story. And
Yeah.
And here's a story. I wanted us to get into this because this was somebody I always enjoyed watching him fight. But Brandon Vera, and we he was fighting this weekend. He's 45 years old. Go.
Oh, so this is his last. He fought a guy named
retired after the
Allahu.
fight.
He fought a guy named Allahu Akbar.
Amir Ali Akbari.
Do you
God bless you.
Do you remember there was a time like what a prospect Brandon Vera was and how good people thought he was going to be?
He was going to be the dude. Yeah, yeah.
So he came along
3-fight win streak, I think, in his UFC, like his
Yes.
heavyweight UFC debut.
That's right, but he beat Frank Mir, who at the time was the former champion.
But Frank had just gotten into
come
that
back.
car
It was his
accident or
first
the
fight back,
motorcycle
I think.
accident,
You know, or one of his first fights back. But Brandon Vera came along at that time in MMA. He was a guy. He was a very high level wrestler. He had like trained with the Olympic team. Never made the Olympics, but was like in that like kind of echelon of wrestling. And he was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, either brown belt or black belt. And then he was like training with Duke Rufus and was like a crazy good kickboxer. And it was kind of like people were like, there is no one like that. There's no one who's like a high level jiu-jitsu wrestler and kickboxer. And they were like, this guy's just going to be like incredible. And he went on a little bit of a run, but it just kind of like never quite went.
Yeah,
where
never
everyone
materialized.
thought
But
it
I mean,
might go.
you know,
Still had
fucking a legend
career.
in his own right, you know.
Had a very good career, had a lot of big fights.
16-10 record, 4-3-1. He actually won his first 4 bouts, won the one heavyweight championship, then lost 3 in a row. And he also won the WEC Heavyweight Grand Prix Championship in like 04-05.
Okay. I just remember there was so much hype about him when he was first in the UFC.
Hats off to Brendan Vera, especially after beating Mir, which was a little bit of smoke and mirror-y type way to debut. But
Smoking Mirror.
Yeah.
Frank Mir.
Yeah.
That was no.
was a joke.
That's what I was laughing
Yeah,
at.
all right.
So you told a joke, and then when I laughed, you went, "What?"
Oh, I don't think you got it.
Of course I got it. You were just that prepared for no one to laugh at
I
your
tell bad
joke.
jokes sometimes. All right, we got to go. We got to wrap this one. Shout out to YoKratom.com for supporting today's show. Support them and everything they do. We'll be back next Monday with another great episode of your favorite MMA podcast. Have yourselves a great week.
And thank you for my presence.